Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm very nervous, and so you have to bear with me. I have, anxiety at the moment. First of all, I like to say that we're all human, and I actually had, I think it was my third nervous breakdown yesterday I've ever had in my life. I had one 3 years ago. Then I had one in the courtroom when I was sitting, and they told me, when the policeman rang me and told me he was on the train making his way home, that Peter was getting let out. And I didn't know whether my mum was safe and stuff. I flung myself on the floor. I had a nervous breakdown. I just couldn't control the crying. And then yesterday, I was up all night, and then I woke up yesterday and I had a nervous breakdown. But the thing is, I was speaking to a friend about Cheryl. And so the voice note is all directed towards sort of my anger and frustration with Cheryl, and then it should never have been posted like that. So I feel like I have to try and explain, even though I would never explain myself normally. I feel like nobody's going to hear what I'm saying when I'm screaming and shouting and carrying on. And so basically, in summer 2020, it was around the first time I linked Cheryl in the park, because her brother, Malachi, used to see me in Wood Green Library getting my permit and stuff, and he used to talk about me and saying, this girl, Cheryl, this girl, your friend. And he spoke about me to his parents, and they didn't know who he was talking about. Like, she came to realize it was me. And so I started spending some time with her. And, I met her in Lordship Rec, where, her family lived close by. And I had my first kind of little party with rum. We was out one night, and there were quite a few men hanging around under the tree where I got attacked. And before that, I was actually on the phone talking to my boyfriend at the time, who actually Muslim, and I was saying to him, I'm in the park having a drink with my friend Cheryl, and there was this guy with dreadlocks. He kept following me around the place, the park. So I had to physically move myself and my conversation into the middle of the grass on the farm, because he was just like a little gnat following me around. And his mouth, my boyfriend could hear him more in the background than he could actually hear me on the phone. So later that night, Cheryl tried to walk off and leave me. And we were rummed up, we were tipsy. So I said to her, don't try and walk off and leave me in a park with bare man, da-da-da-da. And me and her kicked off. And basically, as we're leaving the park, the said Rasta guy, in quotation marks, he came and bit me in my neck out of nowhere, the same neck that got cut. He growled like a dog, and he bit me. So the next morning, boom, I rang Cheryl and I said to her, who is the guy that bit me in my neck, Cheryl? Who's your friend? Blah, blah. And I'm asking her and I'm begging the girl to tell me, but I'm saying she knows how I am. She knows, you know what I mean? Maybe I might not take it too well. Not that, you know what I mean? I'm going to go and set the world on fire. It's like, I said to her, has the guy got germs? Who is he? I don't know who he is. Why is this guy biting me in my neck? And she kept his identity do you know what I mean, secure. I kept saying, get me a picture of him or something. I need to know who this guy is. So I said, like, so where do you know this guy from? And she's like, oh, one day me and my friend were out and we saw him getting rushed by a bag of man. Do you understand? And we jumped in to save him. So he's got allegiance for me. That's why he bit you in your neck. So I said, so who is he then? So for 2 years, I'm babysitting her son and Red's son, by the way, which nobody knows. The 2 boys I've got here, and they're getting dropped off, like, you know, and TJ, Malachi, all these children. If you don't know, that's why I came to the universe. I'm here for the children. That's what I'm building towards, helping them. Do you understand? So they all had a thing for me, basically. And TJ would be here turning up every day, and he'll be outside my house and stuff. Or Cheryl brought him here, and then he just kept coming. We had a bond. So basically, where am I? I'm off subject. The guy bit me, and she wouldn't. Every time she's dropping the child to me, she wouldn't tell me who he was, and it's just playing on my mind. And that's why I posted his picture yesterday on YouTube, because that brings me to the 10th of June, 2021. Malachi, Cheryl's little brother, died. Now, he had a bond with TJ. Them two were hanging around with each other, and it was really nice where they were. And then all of a sudden, we lost Malachi. And I said to the family, I would do a photo shoot for you lot. And I went to the church, and I followed them around, and and then they brought the after party to Bruce Castle Park. So at the time I'm close by, I ended up going home, getting changed, changing up my camera battery and them things, come back to the park. We're all there. And I said, I'm going to take a picture of every single person, at least once, of the guests, all the family's guests that had come. And that's where I got his picture from. The guy bit me in my neck. These times he was there and knew he'd bit me in my neck. And Peter was there as well. I didn't even know, because I didn't even know who he was. He was there. Loads of people were there, Reds, all kinds of, I'm not going to start name dropping, but done the photo shoot. And Michaela, I posted her picture as well. Michaela, who's clearly jealous of me, even though we look like sisters, we look like family, she was following me around all day long, following me around. And I said to myself, there's no way she's coming to my house. And if anybody knows me, will know I do not hang around in parks at no time at all, not even in the daytime. Because it was years ago when I was walking through Finsbury Park when I lived in Holloway. It was 3 men hiding in the bushes. And they tried to grab me, and I had to run through the little gate and run around, and I called the police and said, look, you lot got some weird men hanging out here doing things. So parks in the night time, dog or no dog, is no place for no woman to hang around. So when I was telling you about summer 2020, that's the first time I'm linking Cheryl, and it was hot. There was bare mosquitoes out there. It was like being in yard. It was having a little rum, right? And then, so basically, at the end of the night, the party, Bruce Castle Park, they moved over to Lordship Lane. And I said, I'm not going down to the wreck. I'm going home after this. So it was me and TJ and Michaela. She was still hanging around me. So I said, boom. I went and got her a bottle of rum, and I bought her a jar, and we sat on the bench. And I think we spent a little time there. And then my leg was it was hurting me because I'm working all day and I couldn't walk. And TJ had this little bike, and it was really heavy. And I tried to wheel myself home on it, and it kind of threw me down in the grass. So I was like, the next morning, because I took Michaela's number, right? Because obviously from the day there. And I called her in the morning and I said to her, Michaela, what the fuck happened to me, man? I know I fell off of TJ's bike. Yeah. I only had I had 2 Guinness that day. And I think I must have had a couple rum, but I definitely had head concussion in the morning. So I said to her, what the hell happened to me? I said, my nose bridge is busted and I got a cut on my eyebrow. She goes, Tia, don't you remember what happened to you? Don't you remember what happened to you? I said, what do you mean what happened to me? She goes, Peter Dread, TJ's uncle. I goes, what are you talking about? TJ's uncle, Peter Dread. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, Peter Dread, you don't know Peter Dread? I goes, no. She goes, he sits under the tree in the park. I goes, what are you talking about? He sits under the tree in the park. She goes, he sits under the tree in the park. I goes, what park are you talking about? She goes, and he got a red speaker box. I goes, no, I don't know what you're talking about, Michaela. She goes, well, he parked his Audi by the gate and he was waiting by the gate, yeah? And he was trying to get you in his car. I said, what are you talking about? And then you and him was arguing by the car. And then he took your head and smashed it into the glass. I said, what do you mean smashed my head into the glass? I said, what, did it break? And she goes, yeah, it broke. She goes, the noise it made, oh my God, Tia. She goes, you are strong. It didn't even knock you out or nothing. I'm thinking, what is this girl telling me? She said, you smashed your head in the glass. I said, okay. So I said, then he's TJ's uncle, Peter Dread. I said, okay, cool. So I rang Reds and I said to Reds, it was an awkward moment for me. I was like, how do I ring Reds now and tell her that TJ's uncle has attacked me? I didn't call no police or nothing. I called Reds. I said, yeah. So Michaela, anyway, she was like, yeah, then he was telling me get in the car and leave you and blah, blah, blah. I was like, this is madness. So, but before we get to the conversation with Reds, my nose now was bleeding, like busted bleeding, like the cartilage. Like blood was just pouring out my nose and I had a big fat scab. So anytime I picked it, it would look like I'm doing cocaine or something. Basically, I had this big dirt. And anybody knows me, I have to have a clean nose. I've been that way since I was a child. So I got this big dirty scab in my nose. And I can't even clean it because there's blood gushing out. So I said, that's mad. And it took a whole year and no one would believe me. It healed the same week I got freaking nearly murdered. It took a whole year for it to heal. So basically, I rang Reds and I told her and she's like, yeah, that's TJ's uncle, blah, blah, blah. So that's when I got his name. So now, I had to make some points, because it's all over the place. So basically now, on the 18th, we know what kind of happened to me on the 18th. Basically, my point is like, if I even knew he was around, even near me in the park that night, I would not be there on the 18th of May. And my point is, if you already know you busted my nose already, what the hell are you doing talking to me? So that's why all the screaming and that, because I was disappointed because when I got out of hospital, like for a while, because actually I haven't even had time to think about what's happened to me because I had to bury my father and then my whole time I was in hospital, I had like 1 bar reception. I was trying to arrange my father's funeral and stuff and raise people up for money and stuff. And people tell me, when's his funeral? And these times funerals cost over $8,000 and stuff. And government didn't like him, so they weren't really trying to pay the money fast, So I was going through all of that. And then I didn't have time to even know, like, what was going. I knew there was a drunken thing that happened that night for sure on the 18th. So when I come out to do my rounds, I made a few phone calls, and I find out that because I think the whole incident the time of the incident is all wrong as well. Because I had 3 important things to do that day on the 18th. I had a contract to sign, music contract. I had to clean my dad's flat. I had to get a van. And there was something else, but everything I tried to do flopped and blew up on me. And I was like, what is this? And I looked outside and I've got, arthritis and stuff. And I looked outside and the sun, it was the first day the sun come out. And inside my house was looking grey and drab. And I was like, you need to get out, man. Go on your bike. I'll just leave this and just go on. And then it was the energy was telling me, do not go. Because Cheryl rang me at 3:31, just before 3 o'clock. And said, come and link me and stuff. And I was like, yeah, cool. So I ran to Sainsbury's when I got some fruits, bits and bobs. And I bought a small bottle of rum and some limes and da-da-da. And something was telling me, do not go to the park to meet that girl. Do not go. And I just, with all the stress, I thought, you know what, I've just got to get out. I need the sunshine. So got there 3:31, and then by 7 o'clock, I'm looking up at the sky and I'm thinking, there's no way I'm getting caught out here in the dark, with Cheryl's people and the mosquitoes. It's not going to, well, they weren't really ready yet, mosquitoes, but yeah, the wreck with the water and that. So, because there was a time I met Cheryl in the park after that, and she had this little Rasta friend. I was up, literally, I was being a tomboy. I climbed the tree with this guy, I'm not going to name drop, and I was playing him some of my tracks in the tree, and we was just there listening, and there was bare people down at the bottom of the tree gathered around, and there's nowhere really to sit, and I just climbed up in the tree, and I was listening to my music with the guy. And this girl was at the bottom and her gums started popping off. She's going, get out of the tree. What you doing in the tree? Blah, blah, blah. It was Cheryl's friend. And I thought, you know what? Every time I come here, like, it's like, I don't understand. So, one of her it's like she's setting her little dogs on me. So I was like, me and the girl got into it a little bit. And I said, you know what? She's like, I hope you drop out of the tree. I said, I hope I drop out of the tree. And when I land on you, I hope I break your fucking neck. Basically, yeah. And I got down and I said, like, all the men, I was like, nobody ain't telling me what to do, and what I can do. And then all the men dashed it, had a take away a blood clot, so I've come out to the park and made her go, and she had a little screw face. And then Red's invited me to a do, and she was there, and she realized I'm people's children, that people actually know me, and she's screwing up her face, and she lives like, she see me the other day, she's doing stupidness, Cheryl's little minions. So basically, and then high grade, one time I'm there, my bike's next to him, and he's like, move yourself, yeah, move from my bike, move from my I said, you know what, I'm looking at the space from where I'm standing, and I'm looking at his bike. I'm looking at where my bike is, and I said to him, you know what, if you want to move your bike, you can move it, but I'm not moving. And he said, go your yard, yeah, go your yard. And then basically, yeah, he started cursing and carrying on, and then the same thing happened. The men told him, come out of the park and move yourself. But the point of that story is, I got a phone call from someone, and they told me, do not trust your friend Cheryl. She's not your friend. She told High Grade he should have fucked you up in the park that night. So I said, yeah, for real? These times, her son's coming to my house still. And then the little boy is telling me, my dad said, your mum don't even like Tia. Why is she leaving you with her all the time? So I told Cheryl, and she said, I told him not to talk to him like that. I told him not to speak to him like that. Yeah. She's telling people, I'm telling people how talented you are and how good you are, the kids. Why would they want to hurt you? Yeah. So basically, what happened now? Where did I get in the conversation? So High Grade fucked up. Every one of them flopped. Meanwhile, I'm hearing about people getting beaten up in the park and things that happen to them. People are trying to walk through the park to go to work and they're getting rushed by mad people and stuff. So I said, okay, cool. That's how them lot moving down there. So anyway, so I'm back to where I was. So I'm coming out of the hospital and I'm trying to find out what happened to me. So I was planning to leave. There's no way I was out in the darkness, or maybe, anyway. I spoke to several people who said that I got on my bike and I tried to ride away and I collapsed. And then I heard, you were there forever. They had you there forever. They were operating on me in the park. They couldn't take me away because my face was completely open. And my little sister said that they had to put a sheet under my chin and grip it down. And that I was hysterical and they couldn't take me anywhere, the state I was in, basically. So they had me on the grass for a good couple hours out there in the night. And then so Cheryl was saying that the police dashed her out the park. And even she said her boyfriend said to her, I mean, does your friend smoke or something? Does she smoke with Peter? Because like she was just talking to him, like he went over the top. She's like, yeah, I know. We was like, no, she's not even like that. She don't do them things. Yeah. So basically, she said to me that I was sitting on the bench and that he kept coming around the bench, coming around me. And that I was trying to run away to get away from him, and he picked me up and threw me in there and got on top of me and stuff. And she said, I thought he was punching you, but he wasn't. He was cutting you. And then to my point, Michaela was there. Cheryl's son was there. He also got cut. And Dwight got cut in his neck as well. And the little boy was screaming, oh, that's my auntie, leave her alone. And like bare people, because Cheryl said that the man then was all fighting and carrying on, and that Peter came in my face and I boxed his glasses off his face and all this stuff, and how I was arguing with Bear Man and blah, 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 and blah, how I was the perpetrator. That's why, like, because, like, being accused of certain things at a time like this, I was really frustrated and had a nervous breakdown. Like, because I heard stories about how I stole from him, sleeping with him, it's all these things. But I spoke to a really special friend yesterday. And regardless of how my family has treated me or how I've been, like, you know, through this process, she said, of all people, like, everyone knows your heart. You didn't deserve that at all. And it's people like that that give me the strength, like, basically. So, you know, where was I? So from day one, you know what I mean? I said I didn't know the guy from nowhere. And I never really had no animosity. I'm not sitting down thinking about my face every day. I've got too many things to do. Like, it's there. It's not going to go away. It's there. Do you understand? But, like, it's just, I was, like, so angry at the system and at people, because it's like women, things like this can happen to women. And the first thing people are saying, were you sleeping with him? What did you do? Everyone, if anyone talks to me and asks me, what happened to you? They're like, what did you do to the guy? Why did he do that to you? You know what I mean? And I've got to walk around. I can't even shoot my music videos and stuff. I got to walk around with a line in my face and stigma. like I'm some kind of a bad person. Like I go around robbing people and stealing from them and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's just like I've gone way off subject again. But my point is, don't put the energy into him. I think we put too much energy into this. Like when I was shouting and screaming, what do they want me to do? What do they want me to do? It's like, you know, that pressure where they want people to go out. You see when that happened to me, instead of them going and looking for the guy, they were sitting outside my mother's house, CID. That's what they were doing. Waiting for someone to go and do dumbness. That's what I'm saying. Like, who's got time for that? I don't want people to think like, you know what I mean? I'm losing my mind and stuff. I'm trying to just get on with my life, basically. I'm not trying to give nobody no more energy. It's been 8 months now. Yeah. And that's that. No, I think I've covered everything. So the pictures I posted, yeah, the guy who bit me in my neck, he knows who he is. And the witnesses and that, the people that were there, it's not like, you know what I mean, they owe me anything. I knew everyone was drunk and that no one would even remember, really. Like, it's a horrific thing that's happened. Like, who really wants to be coming and talking to the police, telling them they've seen that and stuff. But it would be nice if people would step up. You know, this is just a perfect example. This could happen to anyone's child. Anyone's child. Yeah. It's a perfect example of what happens when people don't take control. You know. And I'm sorry for the screaming and stuff. And thank you for hearing me. But ultimately, where my breakdown comes from, is from seeing the video and reading the dialogue, and knowing there's more than 5 people visible in there that you could have called for questioning, you know, as witnesses. And the ones that were mainly in the video were shouting over towards the scene of whatever was happening. So they were blocking out most of the dialogue anyway. But like, basically, it was just hearing how everything unfolded and knowing that the system knows that and they know who done it and they just threw it out like it was nothing. That's where the breakdown come from. And like my housing, they've been putting me under pressure. I'm not going to start talking about them on here, but there's other things going on in my life that caused me to break down, and it's a system, basically. So I'm not going to lose sleep over that. But I wanted to add that when my mother got to the hospital, because I was flown by air ambulance, they said, I think it took them a couple of minutes to fly me down. They said if they took me to Northmid, I wouldn't have survived, basically. I'd never would have survived because I had 3 separate surgeons operating on me at one time. I had throat, nose and mouth. And so where they airlifted me and they strapped my arms so tight, they left my body on one side, sedated for 3 days, and they killed all the nerves. They severed all the nerves in my arm. So I had nerve damage I've still got it now. I haven't got 100% capacity in my arm and my hand, my right arm and hand. But yeah, so basically I had all that going on. And my mum, when she came into the hospital, she said I was stone cold. That's how much blood I lost. And she nearly collapsed in the room there when she saw me. So, like, you know, it wasn't something small. It's not something I think can just be swept under the rug like that. But like I said, it's happened already. It's done. And, you know, when my heart gets weighed at the end, I know I don't have to come back to this place and relive my life. Trust me, I'm not going to have to keep coming back and relearning dumb lessons, because I'm bigger than that. I know who I am. So thank you for listening. Have a good day, everyone.